guys, welcome back. It's Josh with Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week I wanted to touch base about an article that I read on the internet. There's a page that I follow on social media called Car Buzz, and they post all sorts of things, right? I mean, they'll post about concept cars coming and going, and maybe models that are being expired and engines that are coming, whatever, all the things, right? Car Buzz. Well, I was reading an article that they posted maybe a week or so ago in regards to dependability of cars being at a 15-year low. Now, I kind of laughed when I read that because I thought to myself, when has a car ever been more reliable than when a car is brand new, right? You think about warranty recalls and you think about little known glitches and errors and whatever else that comes with these vehicles, but for the most part, a car that's brand new with no miles on it, it should not have any issues. And that's why auto manufacturers give you a warranty with the vehicle, because they know that the likelihood of failure is pretty low. Well, dependability, 15-year low. So what that tells me is that 2025, maybe 24, because it's probably an older study, but my guess is that 2024 vehicles were more often recalled, more often in a shop for repair or at a dealership for repair. There had to have been reasons that these numbers are statistically lower than they were 15 years ago. And 15 years ago was 2010. So it's not like in 2010 there was any major, earth-shattering situational, automotive industry phenomenon or anything like that. You think back a few years earlier than that, and General Motors was bailed out. They couldn't have made it without that bailout. Ford was the only real legacy manufacturer that didn't participate in the bailout. I don't know if it's an economic thing or what, but fast forwarding to today, it is just fascinating to me because you think that with the technology that we've got today, especially with electric vehicles, EVs don't require maintenance. They don't need oil changes. They don't need fluid changes. There's no transmission to break. There's nothing like that. And, I think about even my wife's Mach-E. There are still things that can break. There are still things that can malfunction. And when we're living in a world with a lot more EVs, Tesla wasn't as big of a thing 15 years ago as it is today. And so I think that where we're experiencing a lot of this is maybe electronic glitches, maybe electronic errors. And I don't know. I mean, I compare it to computers. There's more computers in the world today than there was 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Every decade since the computer's been invented, there have been more and more computers. So you could say that there are more computer issues today than there were 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But from a percentage of users, it has the number climbed, number of computers is greater. So by default, there's going to be more errors, more problems, more maybe recall type of situations. There's more cars on the road today than there have ever been. So I don't know how much validity goes into the statistic of reliability, but if my car is like my cell phone, I have an iPhone, and Apple more or less develops their phones with planned obsolescence in mind, meaning that in 2, 3, 4 years, there's going to be an operating system update that will no longer be supported by the phone. The phone will be aged out. And if I want to get the newest apps and have the latest features, I have to buy the newer phone. Well, when you're looking at electric vehicles, one of the things that comes to my mind is planned obsolescence. Right now, technology is such that there's over-the-air updates. So our Mach-E, one day we got in and there'd been an over-the-air update overnight, and the buttons, the physical, it's a screen, it's a touch screen, but the physical icon on the screen for the heated seats had changed. And so you push the button, and no longer do you have to push the button 3 times to go from 1, 2, 3, or from off to level 1, 2, 3 for the heated elements in the seats. Now you just push it to turn it on and off, and you use the physical volume dial in the middle of the screen to control 1, 2, or 3. And so, I mean, that's all an electronic change. Nothing fundamentally changed. The switch is already there. All they did was reprogram the operating system to recognize that button as an on and off. And then you use the switch, or the dial, if you will, to adjust the temperature of the seats. I mean, that's kind of cool. But ultimately, the processor in that car isn't going to be up to date in such a way that those over-the-air updates will continue to come. I've got to think that Ford is thinking down the line at planned obsolescence, right? I mean, otherwise, outside of just wear and tear, why would somebody replace a car, that's usable? Now, I say that generically. There are people that buy new cars every year. There's also people that buy a new car and drive it till the wheels fall off. So they're buying a new car every 15 or 20 years. I just don't think that EVs are designed to be lasting that long. There are Teslas on the road for 15 years. I mean, you think of the original Tesla Roadster, very early Teslas were like 15 years ago. So those cars may or may not still be on the road. And of course, Tesla's made changes over the years, and they've started mass producing things. So from a business model, reliability, again, same story. It's like, okay, you're manufacturing more cars. Things can slip through the cracks. I mean, automation is great, and you push a button on an assembly line and it's going to build the car for you. But if one little laser is out of place, or one little something isn't where it needs to be, you could have a line of 100,000 cars get recalled for one little issue. So the long and short of it is, it's fascinating to me that the reliability numbers are still relevant. I guess that's part of the deal for me too, is I buy a new car because I think that it's going to remain reliable. I don't necessarily think that if I bought a used car, it's going to be as reliable as a new one. And I guess the fact of the matter is, it's statistically maybe true, but it doesn't matter. Every car is going to require maintenance to some degree, whether it's new tires on an EV that doesn't require fluid changes, or maybe it needs a transmission flush, or maybe it needs a new transmission altogether if it's a gas vehicle that I'm buying used. So I don't know, reliability, it's an interesting topic. And anyway, I went way more into that than I intended, but I think that there's something true to the reliability numbers depleting. But again, I do think that it has something to do with these manufacturers building cars today with planned obsolescence in mind. It's become a viable business model. And yes, you can truly drive something till the wheels fall off. That's why classic cars are still a thing, right? Because people know how to build them and restore them and fix them and use them, and then repair them and restore them and fix them again. And so to me, people aren't buying Teslas because they think they're going to be a collector's item in 70 years. They're not going to fix them. They may put a new battery in them, but unless that cost comes down dramatically, they're disposable cars. And so they will buy them, drive them until they can't, and then buy something else. And so from a reliability standpoint, I guess I'm not shocked. The more I'm saying this all out loud, I'm not shocked that the numbers are true, but it also shouldn't come as a surprise, right? I think that then when you're looking at the mass volumes of vehicles on the road, stuff breaks, wear and tear happens. And I mean, the world is getting more populated every year. I mean, that to some degree, that's true. But there are more cars for certain on the road today than there were last year, which was more than the year before that, which is more than the year before that. So all in all, I thought it was an interesting article. Car Buzz is the page. You guys are more than welcome to go find it, read your articles, and make your own opinions. But again, thought it was kind of a fascinating topic that I wanted to share with you guys. What are your thoughts? Have you noticed that your cars are more or less reliable today than they were once before? Are you guys buying new cars because of that warranty and because of the safe, peace of mind of a reliable vehicle? I don't know. You let me know in the comments. But thanks again for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. Again, comment down below if you have anything to add. But most importantly, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.